All right. It is May 23rd. It's 5:10 p.m. Grant Upchurch, how are we doing? Why don't you start us off?
We're doing awesome, doing good. This is the Texas Cornhole Show. My name's Grant Upchurch. This is Jonathan Zarzinski, my lovely co-host. And we're about to get in on some great cornhole stuff that's been happening lately.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of wish that the ACL Game Zone, Fan Zone thing worked better.
Yeah, so there's like topics for today.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about the season ending for Texas Cornhole League, the recent Pro National that featured a lot of Texas players.
ACL Pro National.
ACL Pro National. We're going to be talking about some MCL stuff, not my leg, but the league. And so the reason I bring that up with the ACL, TCL, neither league is very good. ACL definitely better than TCL when it comes to advertisement. Or I guess letting people know what actually happened at the events or happening within the league. But both companies only use Facebook. One way better than the other. TCL does absolutely nothing besides post backdrops and when the next event is. ACL at least posts things after the event talking about who finished where, placements, how people threw, et cetera, gives people something to look at.
Some highlight reels.
Right. So where TCL doesn't do anything, but you can go buy some bags.
Hey, you have a bag drop tonight. The Sloth is dropping tonight.
The Sloth is dropping tonight. Super excited.
It's a cool bag.
It is.
I've had the pleasure of throwing that bag. It's badass. I'm pretty sure it's going to sell out day one, but it'll have another drop soon, I'm sure.
The next drop will be at the league championship.
Will it?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, it's fast, in my opinion, but you could still control it. It's at that happy medium.
So we got to keep in mind, too, that we weren't able to, just absolutely beat them the hell up. So you got to throw them. Every bag, as soon as you pull it out of the box, that's as fast as the bag is ever going to be. And people need to keep that in mind. You got to throw the bag and let that slow side wear in, and then it will get to the speed it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean to digress, but yeah, the Sloth's dropping tonight. So all of this stuff that we're going to be talking about is coming from memory because I thought I would be able to open up the ACL Fan Zone, Game Zone, and get back to the stats, and I couldn't figure it out, and maybe it's because I'm dumb. I went to search events. I tried to search by location, Erie, Pennsylvania, and I'm just not coming up. I even went to completed.
Right, you're not the only one. When it comes to looking up who's doing what, where, and numbers, you can't do it.
It's, and one of the big problems is the gambling, because I've seen some legitimate complaints on the old Facebook about how somebody watched a game, and they're like, no, the stats that are being reflected in the bet that I made are not what I watched and saw. So not exactly tracking stats precisely and correctly. And maybe that's why I can't find the events. I don't know.
We'll elaborate on that.
Well, you can bet like over under on how many four-baggers Deborah Odom's going to throw in a 10-round game.
Okay.
Right? And I think they had it at like 4. And the Aspros were like, take the under on that one. They had that one, and they had a couple other like sure thing bets. And,
why would you take the under on that one? I would take the over.
Well, because I think she's only going to throw the bag 5 times because it's a 10 round in doubles. So she's only going to have.
Oh, in doubles.
Yeah.
So you're basically saying, is Deborah going to throw a perfect game?
Almost, right? No way. Maybe, but she's not throwing like super slinky bags.
No, and let's be real here. These pros aren't throwing perfect games every game.
Right.
Or hardly at all.
Yeah. Yeah, so the under on some of these 4-bag perfect game things is pretty crazy. But in prize picks, you got to pick like, trifectas kind of stuff. Multiple bets at the same time. Yeah. What do you call those? I forget.
Parlays?
Parlays, yeah. But anyway, I don't remember the specific example that people are complaining about, but it is difficult to find the stats for every single game. And it's getting crazy because people are betting real money on this. You can't get stats to do the research to make your bets, and you can't be certain that the bet that you placed was paid out properly because you can't go back and read the stats.
So is ACL trying to run before they walk?
Yeah, I think they're bitten off more than they can chew in this one. I think so. And how do these gambling commissions regulate this stuff? You'd have to make sure that the stats would be readily available and correct.
I want to see has anyone really cleaned up?
Yeah, the Ass Brothers talk about it all the time. After they had Justin kicking ass when he went and kicked ass. And they took all the money. I think he was saying they won like 21 units or something. So bet $1, they won $21 is my understanding. And again,
so
this
they
is
didn't
all
say
from
the
memory.
exact amount they won. It was just
they talk in terms of units.
Okay,
right.
Fair enough.
So maybe they bet 1,000 and won 22,000.
Well, it sounds like I need to get into some cornhole gambling.
Yeah, prize picks.
I'd love fueling addictions.
But I'm thinking they're going to get out of it soon because they've got to be losing their ass. And I can't imagine that
ACL is?
No, the guys that are making the line, the bet makers.
Well, you need someone making
guys
the
taking the
line
bets.
that really knows cornhole.
And they don't.
And it's hard to track all these pros across the nation unless you see them throw at nationals.
Yeah.
But that's not the better's problem.
Yeah, the Astros, they saw Justin pull off that feat when he won SIG 3. And then they knew that he was a pretty good bet going in because when the doors opened to bet, he was at like plus 2,200 or something crazy like that. Well, plus 7,000 actually.
You know, this actually brings me to I was listening to one of Justin's games. It was on ESPN, and maybe it was doubles. And I know Trey Ryder was mentioning, all these Texas people are, I know y'all say that he's been around for a long time or this and that. He's like, but we just, we're just now finding out, et cetera, et cetera. You're showing right there, Trey, that you have no idea what's going on outside of your national events, right?
Right.
I mean, even the Opens, you're not really paying attention because Justin's been on a tear and beating some of the top players for a while now. And I know it's not happening within your specific league, but it's still happening.
It's happening. Well, okay, so let's talk about this last national. One of the best doubles matches I've ever watched, and I think you said you haven't been able to watch it yet. It ended in a 1-hour game. Tony Smith and my cousin, not really my cousin, it's a joke because his name is Trzynski, which is a lot like Zerzinski. And they had an incredible game against the dude who was great last year and Lopez. And
I want you to tell me why it was one of the best doubles games.
Well, it's because it culminated in these moments of tension and pressure.
How many moments?
I'm going to say multiple.
When?
Towards the end.
Okay.
And what caused this pressure and this tension was the shot clock and the timeouts.
Okay.
And they were trying to manage their timeouts. And it was interesting because some of these guys would do back-to-back timeouts. I think Lopez did a back-to-back because he called a timeout, figured out what he wanted to do, or kind of figured out what he wanted to do. And then he had to take another timeout, right? So they're burning through timeouts. And it's automatic, by the way. You don't actually have to call the timeout. If you go overtime and you have a timeout left, they call you or they count one of your timeouts. So they're having to battle against the clock. And then it got to the point where the game was really close and both teams were out of timeouts and they had to throw the bag when they weren't exactly sure what they should do. And this brings me to something that I think is pretty obvious. If you're going to be a professional cornhole player in doubles, you should have a locked in, 100% confirmed, like sign language, basic, simple communication between you and your teammate.
Well, that's chemistry.
Yeah. And part of that chemistry should be like dedicated sign signals, if you ask me, like hand signals or something, so that you can tell them what to do immediately.
I think that's too much. I think it's chemistry and trust. I mean, that's all it is. Because okay, Brandon Greger, for instance. I've played a ton of cornhole with him. We trust each other wholeheartedly. He ain't got to ask my permission. I ain't got to ask his permission. What's the hole look like? Moving on.
It's interesting that you use the term permission. Like you have to ask your partner, like, what can I do?
Is this okay?
Here?
I don't want to ruin your moment. So is this okay if I shoot this? I ain't got to do that.
Right.
It's both of our moment.
But you want information, like that's what I want. What's the hole look like? Yeah, exactly. Or do you think what's the stack look like? Do you think I can push through this, or do you think I should go over it? You know what I mean?
Okay.
And your partner needs to be able to tell you that right away.
Sorry. All right. Look at me. What's the hole look like? Backside's open. All right, bet. That's all. That's all you need.
But sometimes it's not that simple. Sometimes maybe a push into the pile is going to do a little bit better. Maybe you're not feeling the airmail, right?
What's the hole look like? You need to push right here. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You're simplifying it. Well, in the lights, when a national's on the line and it's 18-19 or 20-19, and any single miss matters, and there's a big clog.
How many rounds of cornhole do you think these pros have played?
That's what I'm saying. It's shocking that they are not ready to go and know exactly what they should throw in this instance, right? Like that time did you notice that Justin looked over at the last big signature series? Justin actually looked over at Ryland Claver and was like, lay behind or airmail. Like he was asking him for advice, right? So these high level players that have won at the highest level still are not 100% certain what to do when given a certain circumstance, which you would think they would be, right? I mean, Philip Lopez wasn't. And he did not want to throw airmails, even though he had to.
Oh,
and
hold up, man.
Hey, we're recording a show right now, man.
Yeah.
So, hey, thanks. Where were we? So Philip Lopez
had to tell us to lock the door, but
So he had to throw an airmail. He didn't want to, multiple times. He threw this one way up in the air. He had to hit backside to stay alive, and he did.
Yeah.
Actually got a point. That was probably the most exciting shot. And there was more than that, you know? It was just a very good, very tense game. And going back to the reason I think it was so good and tense and the pressure was there was because of the shot clock. And they had to use their timeouts. And
so this is what my input is on the game. Again, I have not watched the game. I understand that 95% of people have said one of the best doubles games ever. I'm sorry, but there's no way that wasn't the most boring doubles game ever 50 minutes into it.
Well, I did. So I'm sitting on my back patio. Dinner, I start watching it. Dinner arrives. We ordered food. Go inside, eat dinner. And then I'm like, hey, I wonder what happened in that game. And I pop open, it's still going.
Yeah.
Right? And it's only like halfway through. Or maybe it's 45 minutes in. And I tried to watch the whole thing over again, and I didn't. Right? But the ending was really good.
So that cut shot, that's very like an
Trzynski's cut shot?
That's an everyday shot, by the way.
Yeah.
Just so we're aware. But the reason that shot gets blown up because it happened at the end of a very long game.
Yeah.
Okay?
At the end of a very long day.
Yes. So I get it. I understand getting hyped for those little bags. That's an everyday shot for a pro player, especially that specific pro player, because that's what he does.
Yeah.
So I want people to take a step back for a second. Those all four individuals threw lights out.
Yeah.
The numbers show that. I think Jacob's the only one that threw less than a 10.
Tony Smith threw like an 11 point something.
11.35.
Dude, he was automatic.
Yes.
Under pressure.
They're playing hole for hole. And then when you get to those big shots, the big shots were hit. And that's what you want to see from your pro players, right? Them hit those big shots.
Yeah.
So my only thing is, again, you're playing hole for hole and you're watching that game go on for an hour.
Yeah.
So the shot clock needs to stay the same. Timeouts probably need to stay the same. How many interviews do they do in the middle of the game?
Well, they had a media timeout. They're doing the media timeouts. I don't know if that's new or old, but they did do a mid-game interview, I think. But I know in one of the other games, it was maybe the Justin versus Trzynski. They had a mid-game interview. Oh yeah, because they were up 11-0 in like 2 or 3 rounds, and they were asking Jacob and Tony like, "Did you expect it to start this way?" They were like, "No, we didn't." But we're just gonna keep it down the middle. But yeah, that team was really hot, and so was the other team. You know, the other one was Schimmerhorn and Needstead again in the Final Four, and they got absolutely killed. And
So,
then
go ahead.
So they got killed by I'm blanking on his name, Lopez's partner.
Richards,
yeah, of course. You know, they smoked their first game, and then same thing with Tony and Jacob smoked Justin and Logan, and then they went into this really long battle, which it was good. Look, if you don't like that game, then cornhole's not a spectator sport. And as I've said that it's not multiple times, but as I was watching that game and I saw the shot clock playing a very important role, I started thinking, wait a second, if we start using the shot clock more and working on that, then I do think it can be
well, you have to start forcing big decisions. So this
Right.
brings me to this. Do they start implementing a coach?
a coach.
Each team is allowed to have one person be their coach who manages timeouts. If you got questions on shots, manages the shots. I mean, I think there has to be some sort of coach involved.
You know, I would experiment with that on the team.
Or even the interviews. You interview with the coach.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think...
Like a
look
team
at,
manager.
Like NBA, for example, at between quarters and timeouts, they'll interview the coach real quick for the media timeouts.
Yeah.
But you don't talk to the players that are playing. You talk to the players at halftime and at the end of the game, period.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. And maybe they should really start working on that with the whole teams thing they have going on, right? Which would happen this weekend. And I looked at the stats, and Texas is 3rd out of 4 teams right now in the rankings in their division. Huh. They're not playing that great, but it's close. They can take a. I looked at it.
I think I got 3rd out of 4 teams at Ryder Cup one time. I was real proud of myself.
Yeah, I was expecting them to do a lot better, but it is close, and they can make a run here at the end. Yeah, but I digress. I think I would love to see shot clocks in TCL, maybe by 2040, 2045. We'll have.
I mean, at the pace TCL is currently going, by 2060, we'll have a shot clock.
A shot clock.
Yeah, but hey, we want to live and die by we can't cross the line.
well, but there are no referees, right? So there's a referee and a shot clock in an ACL, and I'll pivot over to
Only
Major
during
League.
big games. Only
during big games, right? Yeah, there was that one Open Finals where Foreman was in it versus Modlin and Bubenheim, and my God, I wish there would have been a shot clock in that game. It would have been so much more interesting because Frank Mullen kept calling timeouts. He kept taking too long.
I think in TCL you do not need a shot clock. I think with the low number of timeouts already, I think there needs to be a general like, hey, you only have X amount of time.
People take way too long in TCL. I've seen guys that are talking to each other. They don't know what to do. You know, like.
And there are moments like that, but you can't manage that on every single board.
You can. I had an idea. You can, add it to the Scoreholio app or just have like a chess clock.
How? Per shot.
Just imagine a chess clock, and I'm sick of waiting, and I hit it. And now you got to throw before that thing hits 0, or you get penalized.
Okay, I actually like that where at the beginning of the frame, I see you're about to talk, let me hit that.
I'm hitting it. Yeah, take a timeout or throw your fucking bag. Like, I'm sick of waiting.
Because I'm not going to lie, I've been vocal about it before when someone's just taking an egregious amount of time to make a decision or make a shot. I'll say, hey, you got 12 seconds. Hey, you got 15 seconds. And I'll start counting.
Yeah.
I love doing that. That gets under people's skin pretty quick. As they're taking forever, and I'll start.
Do you say Mississippi?
I'll just start counting on that. 1, 2, 3. Like, oh my God, throw the bag.
Yes.
Just for you to board it. That's what kills me the most. You're just boarding it. Like the hole is clearly clogged, and I got whoever this X person is acting like they're going to be big time and make some certain shot, and they end up boarding it. It's like, dude, don't act. You're not that guy.
Right.
Board the bag, and let's move on.
Well, okay, so I also watched Major League Cornhole, and they have a shot clock. And I think it was the Ohio Riders versus the Buffalo Brawlers. There was 50 people watching on Facebook, which 5 times what I was expecting would be watching. The broadcast was poor, C-. It was close to...
And for everyone to know, I've never gotten anything higher than the C+ on his rating scale.
Yeah. You should go to engineering undergrad. C's are just how life is, It takes a lot to get a B.
I'm not mad that I get a C+. It's just kind of like, damn.
Well, all right. It was a C- because it was like, a phone behind a court is what it looked like. It was equivalent to that. But shot clock, referee, crowd. There was a crowd cheering every bag, every shot. And I was like, wait a second. Is this going to be better than I expected? Because I'm expecting it to be a disaster.
It can only go up, right? It's not going to get worse.
The bar's pretty low. Yeah, that's a good point.
Once you hit rock bottom.
Yeah, but I like the referee and the shot clock right there. It did make it seem more interesting.
So let's say this back on the ACL train.
Yeah.
Justin and Logan.
Congratulations for making top 4. You won your bracket. Good job.
You won your bracket. Congratulations.
Yep.
It takes a lot to win a bracket.
Hey, sponsored by AJ's.
Sponsored
They
by
have
AJ
AJ's on their
Sports,
jersey.
flagship sponsor.
Yeah, let's go AJ's.
But it's hard to win a bracket, especially when you're the defending champs. Justin specifically, your singles and doubles defending champs. You got on the broadcast. It happens. Moving on. No one's going to remember it because everyone's going to remember the greatest doubles game ever.
Yeah.
But I will say, this is when we find out. Are you going to coast off of your national success, or are you going to not be satisfied and stay hungry?
Yeah, I think they're going to stay hungry. They're young.
They are. But it's very easy to be like, I accomplished my goals and now I'm good.
So I would not be surprised if, I've heard, Justin practices. He said that in here
that
during he's a guy who practices, and he had the bar of soap opportunity. It was just stacked up like you would prepare it.
Dumb.
That he tried it?
Yes.
Do you remember what he said? I remember him saying, it always kicks off. And that's exactly what happened.
It was dumb because you had, what do you accomplish by hitting that?
Well, a big momentum change. I think they were grasping
Is there?
for... Yeah, because you knock their bag off, you hit a great shot, you start feeling good, your partner starts feeling good, you get...
So you reach, so...
That's a potential...
Okay, you're on TV. Let's just call it how it is. You're on TV. Y'all are both not throwing good at all. A bar of soap opportunity comes up, which is an extreme precision shot.
That you admittedly don't hit.
You have to break your form to hit that shot, just so you know, because you're going to have to put extra ass on it, right? So why would you choose to go for that shot when you're already admittingly not throwing good for a momentum shift? You need to put bags in the hole.
Yeah.
That's the way I view it. You need bags in the hole. Why are you trying to go for a big shot right now? If you're going to go for a big shot, put a blocker up there. Hopefully he has a bag on the other side, on the backside of the hole, and go for an and one. Do something like that. But a bar of soap is not.
And he went slick side too. I guess he always goes slick side on bar of soap, but he could have done the push push the pile could have been an option for him.
I think just cut around it and leave it alone.
Yeah.
You are not in a position to go for that right now.
Yeah, he is kind of coming back down to earth a little bit. But I thought it was interesting that they called a timeout. You know, Justin, I think, or Logan, I think, was like, yeah, go for it. And he did exactly what he told us, that his typical miss for the attempt on the bar. So it just skipped right off, knocked everything in, and skipped off the back.
If Logan had that same opportunity, I would tell him to shoot it.
Yeah.
But Justin, with the way he throws, you're asking a lot for him to hit a bar of soap with no bumpers.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. Not that, I mean, I think Justin is the more talented, more proven player, but when it comes to that specific shot,
yeah,
almost automatic.
Well, let's see. Other Texas teams, I know Fisher Hamilton and Gavin Cano, Fisher not being from Texas, but I know they made a pretty deep run, but didn't make it to the Final Four. And then I couldn't look up the Final Four singles. Justin made Final Four singles, actually. I just remembered.
Okay.
And I believe he was defeated by Graham. But it could have been, you know what? It could have been Alex Rawls.
And Jamie Graham is coming back. I mean,
Hey,
Jamie
he's stepping
Graham,
over the line. He's pulling a Frank Modlin now. Have you seen that?
he changes his throw a lot. I've seen him do a lot of different things. He's really good. Jamie Graham was the top of the game when I was coming up. He's really, really good. Glad to see him come back some. He's developed a little bit of a flop shot. And, yeah, we were actually talking about, okay, so LeBron got swept.
Yeah.
We acknowledge LeBron got swept.
Uh-huh.
So there's a lot of going on, MJ, LeBron, yada, yada, yada. No one wants to talk about how LeBron's in year 40. I mean, in year 20, sorry. He is 40, 38. But we're talking about level of competition here equating to your greatness. MJ, I don't care what any older person is saying, MJ was not playing the talent that is available right now. MJ did not have to play a fucking Jokic. Ever. Jamal Murray would be an MVP candidate in fucking MJ's time. So when we're talking about guys like, to bring this back to Cornhole, guys like Jamie Graham, Matt Guy.
The strength of field is the term we use in golf.
Strength of field. Cornhole is only getting harder because more people are finding out about the game and more people are getting better at the game.
Right.
So guys like Jamie Graham, Matt Guy, Ryan Windsor, they're not automatic anymore. It used to be, hey, they're going to be at the end, period, end of story. But now everyone's getting better. Everyone can do everything they can do.
But we're seeing the same teams over and over again at the end. But you know what?
Are you?
Yeah, Shimahor Deedstead, Burton,
and don't get me wrong, there's
Chamberlain.
always going to be people that are at the top of the game right now.
Yeah.
There's always going to be that. But my point is, it comes in waves.
Yeah, the field keeps getting stronger. Is that your point?
Yes, the field keeps on getting stronger.
You know, the other thing I just thought of is that with the ACL, the game's locked, right? You can't go be a pro right now and go play in a shootout, right? You can play in the opens, but the only thing that's going to be on TV, which is what everybody wants to do, is the shootouts, the nationals, the Super Bowl.
Right.
You got to be a pro, and the game's locked, right? If you're a kid, you're probably not going to make it, and if you're an adult, you better be pretty damn good.
Right. So is seeing Jamie Graham get back up there, where do we think we are? Do you think that we're going to see those guys start falling off a little bit because the strength of field again is only going to get harder, or do you think that do you think we're just going to see random appearances?
I'll go with random appearances because the strength of field is increasing and everybody is getting to that point where they're all really, really good. They're throwing 11s. They've got trick shots. And there's going to be so many of them that it just becomes a numbers game. They all can't win. They all can't make Final Four. So for the guys that stay dedicated and stay in it, that don't have other more lucrative things to do with their time, I think will be there and will be, they're going to be winning tournaments now and then.
So Jacob Gore dethroned Alex Rawls 100% as the best kid player in the pro division? Yes, the answer is yes. Alex Rawls has.
I didn't know Alex Rawls was a kid.
Oh, sorry, not Alex Rawls. Alex Hicks. I'm sorry.
Alex Hicks. Yeah.
AKA Baby Goat.
Baby Goat.
Yeah.
Where's he been? Well, there's that other kid from Texas. Is it Wittenhouse? Whitmore? No.
When you're talking about young talent right now, you are only talking about two people, and it's Alex Hicks, who had a great year last year.
Yeah.
and then Jacob Gore, who is having one hell of a year this year.
He is.
And to be specific, I don't think Alex Hicks, he wasn't in the pro division doing what he's doing. He was winning opens with some of the best pro partners he could get.
Right.
Jacob Gore is doing crazy things in singles in the pro division.
Yes.
And I think they don't want, saying this with a grain of salt, they don't want Jacob Gore to win, by the way.
They being ACL?
ACL, because if Jacob Gore wins, then he is, all the gambling gets refunded.
Is that right?
Yes.
I did not know
Because you
that.
cannot bet on a kid.
Okay.
So keep that in mind in all of this.
Yeah, I watched him play a little bit. Super good. Plays with a ton of confidence. A lot of fun to watch play, you know?
And I like it because he takes chances. There's a couple things he does that are fucking stupid. He does some stupid stuff, but dude, he can do stupid stuff and still be in the game.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of kids out there that are really good. But he's definitely the best. He's the king of the kids, I guess you can say.
Yes.
Right?
Until Sammy Soto is in the pro division,
Yeah.
it's Jacob Gore's right now.
So speaking of Sammy Soto, he is now we're going to pivot back to TCL.
Well,
Or you want to do
let's cut it.
We're going to cut it?
Cut it.